Hello guys, I recently purchased a mystery box of Tennessee postcards. There should be 100 postcards, and I've already opened up out of the envelope, and we're about to go through it and see what we find in here. Now, I knew looking at the listing it was fairly inexpensive compared to a lot of postcards. There's definitely not going to be any real photo postcards in here, and I doubt there's going to be any linen postcards in here either. They all seem to be from, just by taking a quick glance, 60s or newer, Chrome era, or even some of the Continental era postcards. That's okay. I paid about $15 for this lot, but I have no idea what's going to be in it, so let's take a look. First we have an aerial shot of Jonesboro, Tennessee. And looking there in the middle, I recognize the courthouse right there. That is going to be, I recognize the church circle, that is from Kingsport, Tennessee. So Kingsport, they built the city around their 4 different churches there at Church Circle. So another aerial shot. Here looks like we've got the Hermitage. So that's, find a lot of postcards from the Hermitage. Here we have, that looks like Christus Gardens, the tourist attraction that used to be in Gatlinburg. May have reopened to something else here recently, but so that is Christus Gardens. Here we have another image of Jesus coming from his tomb, probably also, yep, Christus Gardens. Another scene, looks like the same Jesus, so that's going to be Christus Gardens also. Next up we have Dixon Gallery and Gardens. Not Dixon as in Dixon, Tennessee, but D-I-X-O-N. I'm not familiar with that, so that is going to be Memphis, Tennessee. Alright, so next we have a riverboat. I'm guessing that's Memphis. That's going to be, oh, it says the Delta Queen on that riverboat. That's, if that was made in the last 5 years, that would have been in Chattanooga, but that is, I recognize the Up Bank building right there, so this is going to be from Memphis. A polychrome wood carving of Leonardo's The Last Supper. That's going to be in the upper room in Nashville. Yes. Okay, so the Memphis Cotton Carnival. Memphis was famous for its cotton exchange, and so they had a, I don't know if they still do this festival every year, but they have a cotton festival. So that looks like that was taken across the river. That's going to be Memphis. Elvis on Beale. I've seen that statue before. It is pretty close to the Orpheum Theater there up on Beale Street. Here we got another one from Beale Street. And so I went to Beale Street about 5 or 6 years ago. I'm sure nothing here is the same as it was. Maybe the buildings are the same, but the neon signs look different. I do recognize the old movie theater that you can kind of barely see from here. Next up we have Lake Biwa from Audubon Park. Is that park also from Memphis? Yes, Audubon Park. And so we have a second postcard from Audubon Park. That looks like a Japanese bridge. Let's take a look at the back of that one. Yes. We have another photograph of Memphis. Memphis doesn't really have an obvious spot where you can take a look at the skyline, so looks like someone just did this one here from a street overpass. And so that's another Memphis skyline. And we've got another Memphis. That one must be from, is that from a lake? Are those fountains from Mud Island? I don't know. But that's what we got here. Another picture of Memphis. And this is a good lot for people who like Memphis skyline shots. So that one looks like it's on the bank of a river somewhere, so maybe again Mud Island is at play here. You can tell the skyscraper is a little bit different here than they would be today. And so we've got another Memphis one. So another one, again, could have been taken from Mud Island or across the river in Arkansas. Definitely Memphis because of the DeSoto I-40 bridge there in the foreground. That must have been taken before they lit up that bridge. So kind of, if you saw a photo of that today, you'd see all the lights on the bridge, and that would make it look elegant, but I guess they didn't have those lights back then. Here we have Memphis on the Mississippi, so I definitely see a theme here in Memphis, okay? This time we have Mud Island in the foreground and the city of Memphis there in the background. At least this one was taken as an aerial, so you know exactly where that was from. Here's another one in Memphis, skyline in the background, and a better look of Mud Island in the foreground. We've got, here used to be the hangar of the Memphis Belle. That is no longer there. You've got the monorail that used to go across there to connect. This is Mid-America Mall, probably another Memphis. Does it say on the back, Memphis Mid-America Mall, the longest pedestrian mall in the world? I am not familiar with that. Again, we have Memphis. Again, we have a riverboat in the picture, and that one riverboat is called the Memphis Queen. So again, with the skyline photo here. Here is another urban scene of Memphis. I don't know what corner that's in, but I've noticed the Up Bank building, the sign on top there being in all of these skyline photos to help identify where that's from. Next up we have Libertyland Delta Dolphins. So Libertyland is a theme park that is now closed. I didn't realize they ever had a dolphin show. So let's stand this one upright, and we can see the dolphin trainer there, and their Flipper and his buddy are trying to jump up in the air for that. Okay, here we've got another one of the DeSoto Bridge. This time it is lit up at night with the lights on it. So that's what it looks like today. Here's one of the Mud Island Harbor. Got another Mud Island. You can see the flags at Mud Island in the foreground, so another Memphis. Here we have Handy Park. That is off of Beale Street. So we've got the statue of W.D. Handy. Also these days over at Handy Park they have his childhood home, just a walk away from the block off of Beale Street. It's another modern attraction. Here we have an airplane. So okay, that is going to be at Graceland. So that is Elvis's personal plane. What does it say here? Elvis Presley's Jets, the Hound Dog and Lisa Marie, with the Graceland estate in the background. I didn't see Graceland in the background. I guess it's the property up here. You can't see the actual mansion because of the trees, but there is his plane called Elvis's Lisa Marie. There's the upper room again, so it's stuck here. Let's pull that away. Okay, that is not a good postcard of Nashville's Union Station. I don't know what they're trying to do there. You can't really see much of anything there. That's a better Union Station. Longtime train station, now opened up as a hotel, and that was in the days where the clock was missing from there. So is this going to be Traveler's Rest? What do we have here? Yep, Traveler's Rest here in Nashville, in the Overton area part of Nashville. Okay, there we go. In Polk County, if you've ever driven out by the Ocoee River, there is this train of that the TVA people use to get from one side to the other. So that's kind of a neat there. It kind of parallels up the rock cliff around Highway 64. Yeah, they call it the Mundig Bluff and the Flume Line between Ducktown and Cleveland, Tennessee. They're in Polk County over by there. Dogwoods frame Mount LeConte in the Smokies. I'm guessing, is that Ober-Gatlinburg? That looks like something in the Gatlinburg area. That is, nope. Mount Etna Sky Ride and Crystal Cave. So that's going to be not Lookout Mountain, but the Raccoon Mountain nearby. So I've been to Crystal Cave. It's been about 15 years, and I remember they said the Sky Ride there has been closed for a long time on that. Davy Crockett's Tavern, that's going to be in Morristown, Tennessee. I've driven by there in Highway 11, but I've never stopped there. We're back to Memphis, so we've got another near the sunset there on the DeSoto Bridge. Another Memphis looking down riverfront the street, so you got the river on the left. This is pretty much the same shot as the last one, except it's during the daytime, and so you can kind of see what that looks like. Same shot again, a little bit less of the river, more of the city there along the skyline, and We keep moving over just a few feet to get different vantage points here. So this time at least we have a barge going down the river. That's a fairly modern picture of the Memphis Pyramid. This was, of course, when it was still not sure what they wanted it to be of a tourist attraction. So that postcard can't be too old. Now we've got Mud Island. They have the replica of the Mississippi River that you can walk along. I would guarantee that if you went to Mud Island today, there would not be that many people. So it's not as popular as it used to be when it opened. I think we saw that one earlier. There's another one of Mud Island with the Mississippi in the background and the triple bridges way in the background, and more of the Mississippi, the replica Mississippi in the foreground. I think we saw that one earlier. Another one of Mud Island. They call this the Memphis skyline, although you can kind of only barely see it up there. What do we have here? Oh, this is Oak Ridge. This is the original location of the American Museum of Atomic Energy. So even that has a new name. So I think it's now American Museum of Science and Energy. But here's another old postcard of where it's called the American Museum of Atomic Energy. Here, I believe this is going to be Norris Dam. So you've got the calm lake on the right of it, and the big circular driveway up to it. I think that's what makes it kind of identifiable. We've never been there. Another one of Norris Dam. I guess that one is, I guess that one's also on the high side. Okay. Oh, this is neat. This is the Triple Arch Bridge in, where is this? Oh yeah, near Waynesboro, Tennessee. This, back in the 70s or so, about when this postcard was made, this was a fairly popular tourist attraction to see. You don't see something like that every day. Now it's not really open as a tourist attraction. It's more of a health and wellness retreat kind of area, and they only let paying customers on the grounds unless you go on Sunday, and it's tough for me to go on Sunday, so that is kind of a neat place I'd like to visit someday. Now I've got downtown Nashville, recognized municipal auditorium right off. We've got L&C Tower, the old courthouses, all the bridges, but this one is specifying YMCA, the building that is where the James K. Polk house used to be. Another one, War Memorial Building, that is of course next to the state capitol, and I've attended one concert in there. They've got the fountains in the foreground, so that's kind of a nice area. Here in Murfreesboro, we've got the Oakland's Mansion. If you go I think it's the first Saturday in May, I think, they have a free day. That was yesterday, so I just missed it. Oak Ridge, Tennessee. No idea what this guy is doing, but it's got to be at the Museum of Atomic Energy. Let's see what it says here. Highly efficient manipulators permit personnel at Oak Ridge National Labs to work behind shielded glass and concrete while handling radioactive materials. So this guy is handling radioactive materials. This looks like a drawing of the modern... No, okay, it's the Clinch River Breeder Reactor Plant Project. So, TVA, built in 1988, not familiar with that. Same thing, Clinch River Breeder Reactor Project Office. So, that's just a place I've never heard of. So maybe it's a good thing I have it. I don't recognize this right off. We have the Civic Center at Oak Ridge. Probably not a place that most people would visit right off, so that's another place I've never heard of. Looks like we have another energy plant here. We have the Bull Run Steam Plant of Oak Ridge. So Oak Ridge, no idea what this place is, but I mean, I guess it's part of the overall Oak Ridge plant there. Here we have Diagnosis and Therapy. Okay, this one is another. Okay, we're again at the American Museum of Atomic Energy, Nuclear Medicine. So we have I don't know, a clear dummy person there sitting on there. This is probably from a zoo. We have this person is holding, is that an otter? What do we have? Still at Oak Ridge, the American Museum of Atomic Energy, we have Felicia Ferret, one of the stars of the Animal Menagerie at the American Museum of Atomic Energy, with her mate Felix and their offspring. So I had no idea that that Oak Ridge Museum had animals ever. Radiation and nutrition. So it's going to tell you about how if you fill your beef cattle full of radiation, it's going to be healthy for you, so yay for that. Kind of dated by the clothing there. But one of those, all the science museums have those where you touch the thing and your hair stands up. So they found a lady here with great hair for that. Again from that museum, the uranium medal. Here we have agriculture. This is what a 70s science museum looked like. I'm going to bet that is the same building. We have, yeah, same building, but this time they've got a sign in front of it, American Museum of Science and Industry. Oh, I love this one. This is the Stone Bridge in Fayetteville. I just so happened to drive through here a couple of weeks ago. So I came inside and realized that my camera battery just died, so I went through the rest of these and it didn't record any of it. So we're still here at the Stone Bridge, and so the city of Fayetteville has opened up a park just about a block away from here they have reclaimed a lot of the stones that were in this bridge, that collapsed 50 years ago, and they have made kind of a little miniature bridge out of it, and so they have a neat use of the bridge here. So that's glad the city has done that. Next up, we have Opryland. So I know that Opryland, that is a source of frustration for a lot of my friends, people my age. In the, part of my childhood was taken away when they took down the theme park and built a mall. Who needs a mall when we need a theme park here? So that's kind of an aerial shot of there. Here we have the National Life Hospitality Center. I'm not really familiar with that. I guess this is a 70s postcard, and that may not have been around anymore. It probably wasn't a selling point anyway. Next up, we have the Hill Country. So I'm guessing a lot of these, if there's a stack of Opryland postcards here, they're all from the 70s. They may not have things that are recognized, but I do recognize the sky ride in the background, but I don't necessarily remember the all the crafts that they show here. I mean, when I was a teenager going out there, it's not like I was really going to buy leather belts. I was going to ride the sky ride. So next up we have the Folk Music Theater. Opryland is like a lot of theme parks, but the music is probably better. Probably because, again, I was not interested in them. But my mom was. My mom would go and sit through all the shows. I would ride the rides. So I never saw the Folk Music Theater, but I don't remember that stage. Now or something I recognize, the Flume Zoom. That was probably my favorite ride when I was a kid. So glad to see that one represented here. We've got the Flume Zoom again. People going down it. That's kind of cool. Pretty much the same shot, except here we've got a little backed up further away. You can see better how tall it is. We've got the old carousel. That's neat to be able to see that, although carousels these days probably weren't as popular as they were 125 years ago when that was more of a thing. I believe it was really old, but I feel like they took that away before the park closed because just no one was riding anymore. Here we've got the Grand Ole Opry. So that was built in about the 70s, and where country music lives today. Here we've got the Roy Acuff Museum, and right there, he actually lived in that house. They built that house for him, and he was walking distance to work. He would, I guess he was always on call to play. And when he got bored, he just swept up and things like that. But he actually lived out there. The house is still there. I walked up to it a couple of years ago. Same one. We have the Dixieland patio. So I don't really remember that either, but you just have musicians, Dixieland musicians walking around all the time. There we've got the Timber Topper. That must be the rock and roller coaster, but giving it a old-fashioned country mountain type of name of the Timber Topper. So that's kind of cool to see how that was back then. Rachel, the antique railroad engine. So they had, if I remember correctly, they had a real steam train out there, and that at the time I was too young to appreciate steam trains. Now you don't really see them hardly anywhere unless they're well preserved, but that one was preserved and it was been sold off to somebody else, so it's neat to see that. Here we have another view of the carousel and the sky ride going over the lake, so that's kind of cool to see that. The New Orleans area. Showboat Theater. Now I do remember that one. Yeah, when I was a kid, they had I Hear America Singing Its Song playing at that theater. Western area. I don't remember the Western area. I don't remember what rides were out there. Beautiful natural setting of Opryland. I mean, no one really went to Opryland because it looked pretty, but it helps while you're there to look at the nice things. Here's some of the I guess the 70s musical mascots. That's neat to see people walking around in outfits like that. That must have been really tough. Finally, we have a waterfall. I'm going to guess that's Ozone Falls. Let's see what it says here. Yes, Ozone Falls. That is in a little bit past Crossville. It's really easy to get to. I've been there. I have not been to the bottom. I want to. But it's the entrance to it is right along Highway 70, just east of Crab Orchard. And you get out of your car and you walk about a minute and you are at the top of the waterfall. And if you're willing to hike down to the bottom, you get a view. That's about halfway down from the trail down to the bottom. So someplace I would like to visit someday. So these are 100 postcards of Tennessee. There are a few winners in here. Some that I probably wouldn't paid, but I got them out all at a good price. So it's kind of neat to have a trip down memory lane here. So thanks for watching.